not any private person. It was out of sight, and is still out of sight.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, Brigadier. So just to clarify, what you're saying is you knew about the concerns, the safety issues, at the time that you suggested the Port Shepstone premises be used to store the drugs.
Yes.
But when you suggested it and it was approved by General Sonona and you communicated that to Prince Lou, he didn't at that stage say to you, but there's a problem with the safety of this premises. That's what you mean?
That's what I'm trying to make.
Okay, but you were aware of it?
I was aware.
And then where you say, still in that paragraph 39, Brigadier, where you say, I too was concerned, I thought the drugs would be safe because General Sonona had the keys and the safe could not be breached and certainly not without being detected. It's this last part that I want to understand. When you say certainly not without being detected,
Okay.
what are you speaking to there?
I think I'll still come to that because during my time when I was there, the landlord, there was a space that the state was not renting. And the landlord will come during the working hours and we will have this talk with him and about the safe and everything. He will tell me how secure those safes are and that those safes can never be accessed without the key.
Yes. Sorry, what I'm trying to understand is when you say without being detected, is it that there was a mechanism about the safe that would raise alarm? When you say it could not be breached without being detected, what would happen that would cause alertness that the safe is being breached?
There was no alertness. I concede it's the error on my part.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I'm not sure that it's clear to me what you mean by detection without being detected. What exactly do you may have explained in response to Commissioner Baloyi, but what exactly do you have in mind when you say without being detected?
Commissioner, as I said that the safes were out of the public eyes and only DPCI members and employees would know.
I hope this will not sound as if I'm probing, but seeing that you were aware that there were security concerns certainly about the building itself, so that should mean that as a result of those concerns stemmed from foreseen possibilities that the building could be broken into. Am I understanding the situation correctly?
At that moment, commissioners.
I'm talking about the building now, not the safes.
Yes, commissioners.
So you agree to?
Yeah, I do agree.
Yes. Now, if once somebody had broken into the building, they would then have all the time in the world to explore the building, not so?
It's true, commissioners.
And in so exploring the building, they could easily, or if not easily, but eventually find the safe or safes, correct?
It's true, commissioners, but also in that building, there are other very important documents.
Yeah, I'm just focusing on the safes and your point about
Detection.
and your point that it would not be easy to detect the safes. I've just established now if somebody has broken into the building and once inside they have time to walk around and that they may eventually find the safes. You have agreed to that. I will leave.
I agree, but also,
yes.
Commissioner, I want to add, there were two safes next to one another.
Yes.
And outside, how will he know which safe contains what?
Let's just leave it. Your point was about detection, not any other issues, and I was just engaging you on detection, and you've agreed that eventually, once somebody had broken in, they could find the safes. I've established that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Brigadier, I just want to take it a step further from what Chair is saying. You specifically say that your understanding was that the safe could not be breached, and certainly not without being detected, meaning that if it was going to be breached or an attempt was going to be made to breach it, the person would be detected. You would be able to detect them whilst they are in the process of trying to breach the safe without the key. Because we want to understand, what do you mean in that sentence where you say the safe could not be breached and certainly not without being detected? So is it they being detected in the process of the breach?
Yes, Commissioner.
So you're saying even if the person makes it to the safe, you would be able to detect them while they're in the process of trying to breach the safe? We just want to understand, what do you mean?
From now, what I've seen, it was not possible.
It wasn't possible. What wasn't possible?
It was impossible to detect them. And so I'm saying I concede this is an error.
Okay, thank you. You may proceed.
Thank you, Commissioners. I called Lieutenant Jacob and told him to speed up the investigation, speed up the finalization of the investigation in order for the exhibit to be sent to FSL for destruction. If I recall correctly, Lieutenant Colonel Jacob told me that he went to Amazimtoti FSL, but that they needed more samples. They informed him that they needed more samples and still did not have space for the exhibit. Lieutenant Colonel Jacob also informed me that he contacted FSL in Pretoria to ascertain if they had space, but they did not. I also called Major General Sinona and informed him about the attempted breaking at Port Shepstone, DPCI Soke. I did this because, as a provincial head, he needed to know about the security breaches in the DPCI offices and the fact that he had the keys to the safe. I further told him that I informed Lieutenant Colonel Jacob to speed up the investigation. The local elections were held on the 1st of November 2021. I was posted in Herigwala district to perform election duties in Kokstad. On the 2nd of November 2021, on my way back home, I stopped by the Margate Police Station and Port Shepstone DPCI offices. At the DPCI offices, I met with Lieutenant Colonel Prinsloo and Lieutenant Colonel Mchali. Lieutenant Colonel Mchali was the new team leader for NPVC at Port Shepstone, appointed in September 2021 from Gauteng province. We had a brief meeting and I left the office. I mention this because I have been informed that General Sinona took issue that the fact that Lieutenant Colonel Prinsloo did not mention this meeting during his testimony at the commission. I am not sure why Lieutenant Colonel Prinsloo will not have mentioned this meeting, or why not mentioning the meeting is something of concern.
Please reread that. I don't think you read what's on there. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure why Lieutenant Prinsloo would have to mention this meeting, or why not mentioning the meeting is something of concern.
Continue.
It was not a significant meeting, and I can only assume that General Snona is suggesting that there is some connection to the theft, given that the meeting occurred a few days before the theft. I must say...
Sorry, Brigadier, can I just understand this? When you say I have been informed that General Sinona took issue with the fact that Colonel Prinsloo did not mention this meeting, who informed you of this?
I was informed by the evidence leaders
Oh.
of the commission. I myself did not know, but luckily when they asked me, it was on my diary. I gave them a copy of my diary to say, yes, I was there.
So just to be clear, this is not a discussion you had with General Sinona?
No, it wasn't a discussion we had with General Snona. And I still do not know how he found out about it, because I never told him about my visit to Port Shepstone.
Thank you.
But the only thing I could say that if he was not told by Prinsloo, then he was told by Colonel Mjala. But also when you visit the office, there is a register that you sign.
Seeing that General Sinona has this concern and even suspects that this may have something to do with the theft, do you want to tell us what the meeting, the brief meeting, was about?
Thank you, Commissioners. When I went there, Port Shepstone had a problem with CIT robberies, cash in transit robberies. And Colonel Mjala was the new NPVC team leader. I wanted to talk to them because I came from Herikwala, and Herikwala is one of their policing areas. I wanted him and Colonel Prinsloo, because they were having, there's a meeting that we have which is called CIT meeting, cash in transit meeting. We invite the stakeholders and we talk to them. They also assist us in speeding up these cash in transit robbery cases. So I wanted them to start engaging the district commissioners, one at Herikwala, which is the area of Port Shepstone DPCI, and one at Ugu, so that they can sit and find solution to the problem, because the vehicles were attacked coming from Kokstad on that road to Port Shepstone, especially in the afternoon. And that happened, and it really decreased the number of CIT in Port Shepstone for a while. And also, we discussed about the manpower. It's also in my diary, but I said human resources. Because when I was there, we had a staff of about 40, including the support services. But then, when in 2021, there were less than 20. And Course is Lieutenant Colonel Prinsloo. I call him by first name because we worked with him. I met him when he was a warrant officer in 2004. So he expressed concern about the personnel, that they don't have members. And I said I will look into that if there are posts available, but they must also try and recruit members around Port Shepstone to apply into the DPCI, because you cannot just take a person and bring it in. That was the meeting about. As I said, Commissioner, Lieutenant Colonel Mjala must have informed General Snona of the meeting. On the morning of the 8th November 2021, I received a call from Lieutenant Colonel Prinsloo, who informed me that the Port Shepstone DPCI office has been broken into, and entry gained through Warrant Officer BJ Pinal's office He said that suspected cocaine exhibit had been stolen and the safe door had been cut by what looked to be a grinder to gain entry to the safe room. I told Lieutenant Colonel Princeton to secure the scene, call the local police and LCRC to attend to the crime scene. I called Colonel Jacob and informed him of the theft, and I told him to proceed to Port Shepstone since it was his stolen exhibit as the investigating officer of the initial seizure on the 22 June 2021. If I recall, Commissioner, where Bangase was the first investigator and then Jacob also took over immediately in July. So he was the one that was investigating the matter. Thereafter, I went to General Snona's office to inform him about the theft, and he called the national head, Lieutenant General Lebia, the provincial commissioner, Lieutenant General Mkwanazi, and the provincial head of crime intelligence, Major General Chika, and informed them of the theft. General Snona instructed me to attend to the scene with him. On our arrival at the scene, at the crime scene, I contacted Brigadier Spear, the district detective commander, to inform him of the theft, since the theft occurred in his district, and he also came to the crime scene. I also called the district commissioner, Major General Ngamangele, to the crime scene because the crime happened in her district. She's a female as well. On the way to the crime scene, I also contacted the provincial crime scene management team, as their mandate is to attend to serious and complex crime scenes. Given this was a theft of suspected cocaine exhibit from the police custody, I considered it to be a serious crime warranting their attendance. This team arrived at the same time as General Snona and me. Lieutenant Colonel Princeton briefed us at the scene, and I noticed that Captain Van Veek from the local Criminal Record Center was also on the crime scene. Captain Van Veek did a walkthrough with the provincial crime scene management team, who took over the crime scene to town in an attempt to obtain information relating to the theft. I must state that when I observed the scene, I was shocked that the safe had been breached, but more than that, I was skeptical that the safe had been breached by the grinding the door. I would have expected the DPCI investigators to have investigated the possibility that the scene was staged and obtained an expert opinion on whether the cutout that we observed could have indeed resulted in the safe being breached. To date, I am not aware of any such report being obtained by the investigators.
What was your skepticism based on?
I did not get you, Commissioner.
You were saying that you were skeptical that the safe had been breached by grinding the door. So I'm saying, or rather I'm asking, what was your skepticism based on? Why were you skeptical?
Earlier on, Commissioner, I said that I had the owner of the landlord told us that this safe could never be breached without a key. So that caused my skepticism.
All right, thank you.
What is your suspicion? Because now you leave us guessing. I don't think you've quite answered Chair's question. Because you are saying you are skeptical that it could have been breached this way. So you might still be coming to it later, I don't know. But what is your suspicion? Because you say also here that you believe that it was staged.
I suspected it to be staged, because I was under the impression that those strong room can never be accessed without a key.
Had the owner ever explained this view?
Yes. He used to come to the office, we will talk. He was an old man, very friendly.
Did he explain why he said?
He used to say it's a state-of-art strong room. But then I would have expected that this needed to be investigated further so that what the landlord said can be proved or disapproved.
All right, all right.
Can I ask a more direct question? Is it your suspicion, let me not call it a belief, is it your suspicion that the safe was opened first and the grinding happened after? Because reading between the lines, that's what it looks like you are saying here. And I could be wrong, so I need you to clarify that.
Commissioners, I'm not the expert. Hence, I'm saying if we can get people who are expert in safes, they can clarify that.
Answered me, thank you.
During the course of the day, there were scheduled interviews for the appointment of Lieutenant Colonel. General Snowden and I returned to the office for those interviews, as well as scheduled civil unrest virtual meeting chaired by General Lebia. As I stated, Commissioners, every day we almost had those meetings around about 4 o'clock. And on this day too, there was the scheduled interviews for lieutenant colonels. To the best of my recollection, the theft docket was given to Brigadier Sbiya because General Snonda suggested that General Detective investigate the matter until a final decision is made by senior management.
Sorry, Brigadier, can you just tell us what is General Detectives?
Okay. General Detectives are detectives from the subs because we are the Hawks and the motherboard, we call them motherboard, they've also got general detectives.
So General Sonona had suggested that a detective from SAPS conduct the investigation. Is that what you're saying?
Initially, yes.
Initially, okay.
Yes.
Brigadier Sibia that you're referring to here and Jones, were they from the SAPS therefore?
Yes. Brigadier Sbiya was the district commander for detectives who appointed Sergeant Jones.
Okay, thank you.
Or Warrant Officer Jones. Brigadier Sbiya was instructed to appoint a detective